I had a speech prepared, and it was very eloquent, very righteous, and very politically correct. And this morning I decided to scrap it and kind of start all over and give you something that is more honest, more raw, and hopefully in some way, in some fashion, it can help you guys. Full disclosure, I'm not a pastor, not a preacher, and I definitely am not Jesus. And so keep that in mind as I'm speaking to you. Maybe I speak something to your heart. Maybe you might disagree with me. Why I was asked to speak, only somebody can answer. Somebody asked her to speak, and somebody told me you should speak, and so that's what I'm doing. As I was going to do a speech on leadership because as a broker, as a business owner, as a elected official, that's my lane, right? In terms of getting up here, speaking God, Bible, this is actually probably the first time I've done this, and so, but something told me I need to share this. Now, as far as knowledge, sure, I had 12 years of Catholic education, right? I know the gist behind the stories, but do I truly know that as an adult? I would say I struggle with it, and I struggle daily. I struggle with the person going 55 miles an hour in a fast lane. I struggle in the Walmart parking lot. You guys know what I'm talking about here? And so I have to catch myself to not be so quick to get so frustrated with people. One of the things that I would tell you last year is my mindset last year at this time was, God, I got this. I don't need any help. I got this under control. There's far more people in this world that have far worse situations than me, and so you need to help them instead of helping me. There lies in my mistake. And my mistake really was putting a limit on his power, right? And it took me a while to kind of realize that, and so then I had to question myself. I'm like, is that my pride getting in the way? Probably. Now, my life kind of got turned upside down about 7 months ago. I won't go into all the details. And so one of the things that I really found was when everything's going good, God, I'm good. I don't need you right now. I'll let you know if I need you, but not right now. When things are going bad, you're all I have at this point, right? And it literally takes an emotional, at least for me, it really takes an emotional breakdown. And I felt when things were going good, I wasn't led by the Spirit per se. And so, it reminds me in Ephesians, Paul is making a prayer about spiritual growth, and he says, when I think of all this, I fall to my knees and pray to the Father, the creator of everything, heaven and on earth. I pray from his glorious unlimited resources. Everybody say unlimited resources.
Unlimited resources.
Yes. He will empower you with inner strength through his Spirit, and that's what I was kind of more or less denying when things were good. And so 7 months ago, many of you know this, but Heather and I had separated. I didn't get to see my kids as much, and literally I was on the floor sobbing. It wasn't my decision, and again, I'm not going to go into it, but through it, I felt God, and I'm going to kind of give you a couple situations. The first time it really hit me, I was on a ball in the floor, literally just like a kid would cry, like just crying, right? And all of a sudden, something came over me, and I felt this presence, almost like a parent, like picking up a child, right? And it was telling me, just, you'll be fine, get up. And I kept hearing, get up, get up, get up. And finally I did. And that was kind of my first experience where I felt him, if you will. And we all have conversations in God, and sometimes he speaks to us, sometimes he doesn't. And sometimes you wish, God, can't you just send me a text or an email or something, just make it perfectly clear? But in this instance, it was it was what I was really feeling at the moment. Fast forward, I'm starting to heal. I'm starting to get better. Another month later, in my office, as you guys know, Heather and I work together. We have a picture above my desk that I'm very proud of. We made a magazine and has a nice article about us, and I looked at that and just kind of broke down again. And the back of my office faces south, so I get sun. And this particular day, it was raining, and it was supposed to rain all day, and nobody was in the office, so I kind of just dropped to my knees. And if you can envision how kind of Jesus prayed and how hard he did that, that's almost what I was doing. And literally, I kid you not, the sun, like the clouds parted, and I had my eyes closed, and I felt the sun on my face, and it scared me. It literally scared me, and I kind of woke up from my prayer, if you will, and then looked up, and I just knew, right? And then it went back to cloudy and raining again, and I'm like, all right, that's too much of a coincidence, right? The last story I want to share with you here is, I'm going to read something here from my app if I can pull it up. But I was arriving to work and just saw a piece of trash laying there in front of my office. And I'm like, okay, it had rained a little bit, piece of paper, it was wet. I'm like, this is kind of disgusting, but I'm going to pick it up anyways, throw it away. Well, I pick it up, and it's this letter. And as you can see, it's been kind of tattered. And the title of it says, "What can we do to give to God?" Again, I was having this weak moment, and I found this letter. And so on the front, it talks a little bit about what this particular person was feeling. And then on the back, it had a bunch of Bible verses from Psalms. And one of them I'm going to read you here is Psalm 25, verses 1 through 5, and reads this. "O Lord, I give my life to you." Sorry, getting a little emotional. "I trust you, my God. Do not let me be disgraced or let my enemies rejoice in my defeat. No one who trusts in you will ever be disgraced, but disgrace comes from those who will try to deceive others. Show me the path, O Lord. Point me out the road, for you wish me to follow. Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God who saves me. All day long I put my hope in you." And that was literally on this piece of trash that I found right out in front of my office. And so Matthew talks about in 7:7, he says, "Keep on asking and you will receive for what you ask for. Keep on seeking and you will find it. Keep on knocking and the door will be open for you." And so all these things that are kind of happening in my life, I believe are happening for a reason. Do I know what that reason is 100%? No. If you look back in the trials and tribulations of your life, you look at the hard times, and then years later, maybe you can see the reason it happened, right? And so I'm kind of still in that moment of I don't know what this is for. I don't know why this is happening to me. And I do have a couple theories, though. And again, everything happening for a reason. 7 months later from that date, what are those reasons, right? First reason is I think God wants me to become closer with him. I was too far from him, right? I didn't need him. And this is his way of saying, come on back. I think the second reason is to teach me patience. Now, remember the Walmart parking lot, driving 55 in the fast lane? He's doing it to teach me patience. And the third thing, I think, is to really find myself, who I am as an adult. I have 5 kids. The first one was born when I was just barely 18. And so you can make an argument that I really, as an adult, never had that time to find out really who I was as a person. I was a kid having a kid. And I wouldn't change it for the world. But I'm in this situation now to where it can be a week where I don't see my kids, and and I've never had this before, I can literally just get up and go to a restaurant. I can get up and go work out, and I can get up and go for a hike. And I've never really had that before. And so maybe this is something that I needed, and I haven't realized it yet. So to bring me closer to God, what are some of the things that I'm doing, right? Getting in my Bible app every day. I'm on a 205-day streak here, and so I'm doing pretty well with that. Now, when I get in there, I do devotionals. I'm doing a devotional now where you read the entire Bible within a year, which I don't know that I've ever done that. Again, went to Catholic school, but they just hit on certain points, right? They don't cover the whole Bible per se. Every morning when I wake up, I go to basically my homepage on my Bible app, and literally the first thing I do is read what my eyes are. I'm still trying to wake up. I read the verse of the day. On there, it's interesting. It says, "Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life." And that's something that I do to kind of help me get closer. I do the devotionals. And so patience, the second thing is patience. And this is a hard lesson for me because I am the type of person who likes to be in control of things, right? I like to determine the outcomes. That's me. That's who I am as a person. I'm a driver. I see something that needs to get done, I'm going to make it get done. And so God's like, whoa, wait a minute. Maybe that's not the plan I have for you, right? And it's really teaching me to rely on his timing. And I will tell you that, God, I struggle with that still. I know it. I'm working on it, but I still struggle with it. Again, teaching me patience, going back to the Walmart parking lot. I've learned a little skill that if I take 10 deep breaths, like it goes away. It just literally goes away. And so that's what I'm doing to learn patience. And for myself, if you've seen any of my Facebook posts, you see me out hiking a lot. And really getting out there by myself, hearing nobody else, being at one with nature, being at one with God, that is my time where I truly feel Him, right? I'm up here, I'm talking about God. I'm hopefully helping some of you guys in your life. Do I feel God now? Yes, I do. But I never feel it as strongly as one or two times. Number one, when I'm down on my knees, just ruined. And number two is when I'm out in nature. So that's what I am to really build myself. Now, if you look on my Facebook page, I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of acquaintances. One of the things that this has really truly taught me, this whole experience that's been going on for the last 7 months, is who are my real friends, right? I've always been a very family-oriented guy. And so either it was work, family, work, kids, work, wife, work, other family, right? I've lost track of a lot of my friends over the years. And I think that's something that is very important that we need in our life, to have those people who are like us, who you can go to in a conversation. There's been a number of people, and I could probably name 10 of them off the top of my head that have really, really helped me over the past months. And I believe that's God putting certain people in my life at the right time. Now, I know in this current environment, there's some other things that people struggle with. For me, social media tends to suck me in, right? Mask, no mask, COVID, Trump, Biden, right? All these things are just pulling at our attention. And what helps for me on social media is I'll type out and I'll say what I really want to say. Then I backspace it and go to another page. So I get it out, but I don't leave it there, right? And one of the things that, if you look at James 3:2, it says, "Indeed, we all make many mistakes," because right? We all do. For if we can control our tongues, we would be perfect and could also control ourselves in every other way. Now, controlling your tongues, boy, that is hard on social media for people to do, isn't it? Guilty. But I've learned if I type it out, I get it out and then backspace it, then move on and I'm fine. COVID seems to be another thing that people really struggle with right now. Some people are absolutely terrified of it. Some people are like, fake news. And regardless of what side you're on, what you feel is real. And what I've actually done a couple times is I've reached out to people that I've seen on social media who are absolutely terrified of this and shared Bible verses with them. And if you type in, Bible verses for anxiety or fear, I mean, you could probably come up with 100 different ones, right? And so one of my favorite ones is from Isaiah 41:10. It says, "Don't be afraid, for I am with you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and I will help you. I will hold you up with my victorious right hand." And so, again, giving it to God, saying, "God, this is something that's dangerous. Please protect me. If it's my time to go, it's my time to go. There's a reason for it," right? And we don't fully understand his plan. Another thing that seems to be a big stressor in people's lives right now is political leadership, right? Trump, Biden, which one do you support? Red, blue, left, right? I mean, you can go on and on with the different things, but at the end of the day, I would argue that if you're putting your trust in our political leaders for your happiness, you're in the wrong spot. If you're putting your trust in one man, you're in the wrong spot. So that brings me kind of to leadership, right? Was I called to be a leader? I think so. I lead a brokerage. I'm an elected official. I like to share my opinion on things. But you have to be careful, and there's a responsibility that comes along with that. I would argue that we're all leaders. Maybe you're not called to lead a city like I am, but you are called maybe to lead that one person who is in darkness that needs your help. And God really encourages this in the Bible on loving people and speaking to them lovingly. But on the other hand, you do have to speak up when you see something wrong. I don't know the verse off the top of my head, but if anybody remembers, when Jesus goes into the temple, he turns over tables. He's not a happy camper at that point, right? Sometimes tables need to be turned, and sometimes loving words need to be used, and you have to pray to God to figure out which one that is. And then I think the last thing, and I've been a victim of this, although I don't like to think of myself as a victim, is rumors, right? Going through what I'm going through, people talk. We're like, "Oh, why is this happening?" And there's a lot of just crazy rumors that I've heard. And so what I would say to that is just stop. Just stop, right? And at the end of the day, if somebody's saying, "Hey, did you hear about so-and-so and so-and-so and this and that?" Well, chances are they have no clue what's going on. Absolutely none. And I really appreciate the people who have come to me and said, "Hey, I heard this, and I told the person that maybe it's just not true, but I want to hear it from the horse's mouth." And that's what you should do. If you have a conflict with somebody, you need to get it resolved to that person. And then it also goes on to a couple more steps if you can't get it resolved. But try not to spread, and I'll go to Leviticus here, 19:16, and it says, "Do not spread slanderous gossip among your people. Do not sit idly by." And so for that person who may be bad-mouthing another person, you really need to go to them and say, "Listen, I'm going to take what you say, and I'm going to listen to it, right? But then I'm also going to get my own perspective on it and kind of formulate a decision for myself on whether this person is in the right or in the wrong." And I think if the person's in the wrong, right, we have a responsibility to say, "Hey, listen, not here to criticize. I'm not here to be mean. I love you, and I want to take this from a loving approach. Here's what I see. Here's what I think. What's your perspective on it?" And really, if you approach people in kind of that non-threatening way, I think you really are being a leader to that person and trying to help them to get closer to God. So, I guess the thing that I would leave you with is, what do you need to change in your life to be more like him? How can you become more like Jesus? I can't answer that for you. Only you guys can. And sometimes I struggle with it as well. And so with that said, that's what I have.